Hey guys, I'm here. So on Friday, I did go see Dune Part 2, so this review is a little late, but I still want to give you guys my thoughts on the movie. I think by its own nature, the only real critique that I have of Part 2 is that it is, by itself, an incomplete story. It does kind of start you in the middle of it, and it is best seen or viewed with Part 1 in mind, going straight into it. That said, I really enjoyed it. This movie is epic in every sense of the word. The scope, the scale, the cinematography, the performances, the visuals, everything comes together to build out and immerse you in this world, and is definitely one I highly recommend if you have the chance to see it on the big screen, because it is that kind of movie. You definitely want to see this on the largest screen possible, because these, especially if you could see it in IMAX, because just Denis Villeneuve, his style, his cinematography, the way he builds out these worlds and these images and these compositions, it's just so mesmerizing. Will you still enjoy the movie if you watch it at home? Sure. I definitely think you will. But you're definitely, I feel like, missing a huge part of the experience. But that's just me. This movie carries a lot of weight, and it has this really strong thematic through line about faith, its power, and its danger. How Paul Atreides as a character really has to try to thread that line, and it's really, really well done. I will say, as somebody who's not seen a lot of Timothée Chalamet's work, I think he did a fantastic job here. It's honestly the best performance I've seen him give, and honestly, it's one of the ones that stood out the most to me. However, the standout in this film was Austin Butler, who in recent years has continued to kind of just blow me away, going from small screen to Elvis to now this, always a very different character and just kind of losing himself in these roles completely, especially with this character here. He is a scary dude. He definitely holds himself up against everybody else in this, alongside Timothée, alongside Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Stellan Skarsgård, Christopher Walken, everybody. There's not a single weak link in this cast. This movie is absolutely stunning to look at, and the music accentuates this immersion so well all throughout the entire run of this movie. You are just swept into the world. The sound design brings you in, cements you in this terrain, in this world, in this alien planet, and it just really makes it feel like you are there. And these characters and the weight of everything that they are doing just feels so rooted and grounded in things that we can connect to and relate to. Denis Villeneuve does a phenomenal job at directing this film. And honestly, if I had the time and if there was a showing for it, I would have loved to have sat down and watched both parts in their entirety to get the entire scope and scale of this singular story, because this story is very engaging and enthralling and just wild. The technology, the battles, man, every one of them is substantial, is different, unique, fun, and there's plenty of them. This one is chock full of action, but not in the way that you ever get bored or lost in it, because they change things up. The variety of it is always keeping you on your toes. I've heard some people compare it to like having these large scale Lord of the Rings style battles, and it's not quite that. These battles like are there to serve their purpose and are not the focus. We have multiple of them throughout the runtime of the film, but none of them are these huge Helm's Deep kind of things. They're there to move the story forward, but not to be the focus, if that makes any sense at all. I think if you see the movie, you might understand what I'm saying a little bit better than I'm able to explain it. That said, they are no less epic and fun to watch. I really got sucked away in this movie. The time flew by. I was just locked in the entire run for this almost 3-hour movie. That's always a win in my book. If it doesn't feel like 3 hours, you're winning. If I'm sitting there counting the clock, you're not doing your job right. And I didn't feel that at all with this movie. And just by the end of it, checking out of it, you know, obviously the only flaw I have is that it is by nature an incomplete story. But I think if you're looking at it as a whole, this is one massive sci-fi epic, and I don't really have any other way to describe it, because it is exactly that. It's everything you want science fiction to be in my eyes. Something engaging, thought-provoking, a little challenging, but not like overly pretentious or anything like that. This is my introduction to the Dune world. I've never read the books, I never saw the original film, and I just got taken away with this movie, man. With that said, I want to know what you all thought. Did you see it? What did you think? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. And before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends. Manny Sherritt, Ryan, Karen, York, Scott, Melito, Robert Anguiano, Jeffrey Hale, Jake and Cheryl, Casey Wood, Russell Crockett, and Justice Smith. Thank you guys so much for continued support. That's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.